So here it is. This is the Canik TP9DA. Now this is a pretty cool gun, and I've never fired a Canik before, but my wife just bought this. So of course I'm gonna take it and go review it. These things are popular right now. Everybody's talking about them. So this is the DA model that she found. I think she bought it because she really liked the color. Which is kind of like a gold, like a bronze. Now, what I like about this, and the same reason I love my HK45, is this striker fired handgun actually has a decocker. So you can see right on the back of the firearm, there's a button right here. You press the button and it decocks it. Even though I racked it back and everything, your trigger pull now is a very long striker trigger pull. And this does have the second strike capability. If for some reason your round doesn't detonate, the striker hits, you can have a chance to squeeze that trigger again to get a second opportunity to fire it. But I'm not a huge fan of that feature, mainly for the reason it teaches bad habits. If you fire a round, nothing goes off, I'd much rather prefer some kind of clearing drill. That's a personal preference. Just because it's something that I don't like doesn't mean it's something that you don't have to like either. Very comfortable grip. So on the Canik, it's pretty ambidextrous for the most part. Breakdown on the Canik is very similar to a Glock. You have a tab on either side. You pull down on that tab and then you can release the slide, just slide it forward. Otherwise, you have your slide catch / release lever right here. It's pretty flush to the frame, so it's not, I like my slide release to stick out a little bit, but to each their own. Some people like it. And then I believe this is reversible too, but you have a left side push button mag release right here on the left of the frame. And I think it's reversible, but I'm not completely sure. It comes with interchangeable back straps, 2 magazines, and a Kydex holster, which the holster is actually not all that bad. Sights are fixed, non-adjustable sights. And that's about it. Those are all the big features, but the big question is, how does it shoot and how does it feel? So we're gonna do a few mags downrange just to get a good feel for it and just see if I like the Canik. I think I will though, very comfortable. So I have Blazer 115 grain loaded up right now. This is the brass stuff. I really like it. All right. Oh, it's bugs. Feels good. A slight snappiness to it. I've been firing a lot of heavier guns lately, like my CZs and stuff, so I guess I have to get reused to a polymer gun. But so far, first mag through it, I really like it. Not bad. 10 more rounds of Blazer loaded up. All right, so now that I've done 2 mags through it, I can give you some initial impressions. It's a very comfortable gun. I think the grip is extremely comfortable, very comfy layout, good design on that. Now, I think my biggest beef, and actually I was talking to Tactical Toolbox a lot about grips, and he refers to it as milking the grip. So I have my hand in front, both thumbs pointing forward, right? And when you fire, you have a snappy recoil. I'm not saying it's uncomfortable or hard to use recoil, but you're firing, and what's happening is the snappiness of the recoil makes your front thumb move a little bit. So what you end up doing is after you fire, you kind of like reposition your hands, kind of squeeze around, and you find that home for your front thumb to sit on. And I'm having trouble finding it on this gun. I think the stippling itself just isn't very aggressive in the front. I've fired some guns lately that really hold your hand in place, but this one, I find myself milking the grip a little bit. Now, it's comfortable. It's a good shooter too. Seems to be relatively accurate, more accurate than I am at least. Just that whole finding a home for my front thumb, a little difficult. Doesn't mean I can't shoot it. I have a lot of guns with that same problem, I guess, but I've been spoiled with some guns recently just in their designs. For $4.99, I could probably deal with a little slick slide. Anyways, let's do a couple more mags and play with it. And this next test is just gonna demonstrate how much I kind of suck. But what I'm gonna do is I have a 10 round magazine loaded inside the Canik, and then I have another one, well, tucked into my belt because I didn't bring a mag holder. I'm gonna do a rapid 10 rounds, drop the mag, reload it, chamber it, another 10 rounds. And that's gonna really show me if the controls are comfortable. Sometimes when you're trying to reload quickly, under pressure, something like that, you're gonna really start to notice where you fumble. So working under speed and at least a slight stress, hopefully it's gonna show me like maybe I don't like the mag release. I don't know for sure. 10 rounds, reload, another 10 rounds, and I'll let you guys know what I think. Here we go. Same test, different angle. Let's do it. So I just did 40 rounds relatively rapidly through this, and actually I couldn't find much reason to fumble, even though I mentioned I don't really like really low profile slide release. It actually seems to do its job just with the way it's designed on the frame itself. It actually stands out just enough to where it's comfortable. Magazine release, it seems fine too. So really, I was afraid that the magazine release was maybe not quite, doesn't stick out quite as far. It is pretty flush with this little bulge in the grip right by the thumb cuts, but again, it's working just fine. I didn't find myself fumbling, and it seems like it's something that's really easy to access when you're in a rush or under some slight stress. We're gonna do some more rounds now, but now I wanna play with the Decocker and see how that feels. How does that first initial double action trigger pull feel? All right, so next test is gonna be the double action trigger pull. So what I intend to do, I'm gonna load up and chamber the first round, then I'm gonna decock it. And then I'm gonna fire the gun, explain the feeling, then I'm gonna decock it again, and so on and so forth. Just do that a couple times to get the feel. So here we go, loaded it up. So now I'm gonna hit the button right here, and it's decocked. So now we're back to a double action type trigger pull on a striker fire handgun. Let's take a first shot. Not bad. It's got some creep. It's a heavy trigger pull, but actually feels pretty smooth. So I don't feel like that. I don't feel any grinding or grittiness in the trigger pull, which is great. I'm gonna decock it again, and then let's try it again. Not bad. Cock it. It's a trigger pull that I can absolutely get used to, especially on double action. I'll explain to you guys in just a little bit why I think double action is actually a pretty good idea even on a striker fire, but let me finish up this magazine. I only have a couple left, if that, maybe just one. Two, okay. Why would you want a double action trigger pull? It's heavy and it doesn't feel as sexy as a nice single action trigger pull. You have a relatively sensitive trigger. Now, I don't know what the trigger pull is, probably somewhere around 5 pounds. The nice thing about a double action trigger pull is it turns into a defensive trigger. Now, I've recently become a big supporter in carrying one in the chamber, especially after watching a lot of self-defense videos, especially from like Active Self-Protection. Awesome channel, so go check them out, John Correa. Anyways, carrying one in the chamber means that your gun is ready to go. And sometimes when seconds really matter, people have lost gunfights because they had to take the time to chamber a round. They might not have a hand available, or they're in some kind of a fight, in a scuffle, and they don't have two hands to rack your gun back. So what that means, carry one in the chamber so you don't have to worry about doing that. I mean, you should have good trigger control, trigger safety, and discipline, right? Get your booger hook right here, keep it off the trigger unless you're ready to shoot. But the thing is, when you have that single action trigger pull, obviously it's empty. I'll even drop the mag and clear it just to show you. When you have that single action trigger pull, right? It's gonna be down here, and it goes off really easily. Now, when you decock it, that trigger pull, that same exact trigger pull, is now heavy, and that has to be intentional. So you're not gonna accidentally squeeze the trigger on this thing. You have to actually try to squeeze the trigger on this, and that's the big thing. So if you wanna carry one in the chamber, decocking it's gonna give you that ability and the extra added safety that the gun's not gonna go off unless you're manually, personally trying to squeeze that trigger. Anyways, double action only, or double action ability on a gun like this is a really, really cool feature, and I love that my wife picked something like that. Let's do a couple more mags. I just have 18 rounds loaded up, same ammunition. This is the Blazer brass. I'm just gonna dump 18 rounds for you guys because why not? Nice fun, 18 rounds right here. That's it. That's the Canik TP9DA for you guys. That double action ability is really cool. It makes it a really good defensive firearm. You have your low profile sights. It kind of prevents snagging and all that. If you want to carry inside the waistband, something like that. And again, that DA is just a really cool feature to have. Overall, very comfortable to shoot. Again, my only complaint about this really is gonna be the lack of aggressive texture right here on the bottom of the frame, or the top of the frame, I should say. I just wish there was something a little more aggressive that kind of holds my thumb in place, but the more I shot it, after about the 100th round or so, but we're a couple hundred rounds into this thing now, and again, towards like the end of me shooting it, I was able to really kind of hone in my grip a little bit on this, and I wasn't milking it so much towards the end, which is good. You get used to firearms, and they're all a little bit different in certain ways, all very similar in certain ways, but they all, you know, they have different styling. They have different styling, different designs and all that. I don't see any of the pins moving around, walking out, anything like that. So really, yeah, the Canik TP9DA really seems like a winner. So love this. And you know what I'm excited about is the fact that I do like this gun. I know Canik has a whole bunch of other guns too, so I really want to try something like the TP9 SF and all those. I just want to try them all now, because this is a really good gun. And you know what, easy breakdown, boop, that's it. So easy cleaning, especially my wife. She has a tendency to be a little lazy with her firearms as far as cleaning. She just wants me to do it the whole time, so I clean her guns for her, but maybe she'll start doing it and taking a little more pride in it as well. Anyways, hope you all liked this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.